hopefully it's where it needs to be. So I can meet the handicap standards.
Oh, is that why you guys are doing that?
Yeah.
That's what you guys are doing? Oh,
Yeah,
dang, that's
it's
crazy.
because it has to be handicap accessible, right? So it's either that or build a ramp that comes in and shoots out and ends up being this. I don't know. It just made more sense.
I
to
know
bring
the ones
floor
that
up.
go like one way, they come back the other
Yeah.
way, they come back the other way.
I didn't have space for that because that would take up space for my little store area that I want to build. So I thought, you know what, I'll just bring it all up, and then I have that just open space, and they can walk straight in from outside.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that's what we're working on right now, trying to get that done. It has to be, well, I had to do that one section that we're finishing right now because they have to build the offices. And they can't do that until that's done. Yeah, if that's not done, they can't do them because they attach to the wall. So that part should be done hopefully tomorrow, and then they'll come on Tuesday or Wednesday and build all the cubicles and stuff, and then the office will be
Ready to
done.
go?
Ready to go. Ready to go. So what's going on?
Nothing. All right. Hold on. Let me do a clap actually, so I know where to start it at. Okay, this is the 4th episode of the 100 podcast. You're going to find it on Apple Podcasts, Anchor, YouTube, every other podcast streaming platform. And today I have, first and foremost, my father-in-law and a Coachella Valley local and a owner of the TNT Delivers Moving Company for 25 plus years now.
It's going on 25. Well, we're actually 22.
Oh, okay.
Going on 23. But it's been in the works,
Yeah.
you know.
And you are a Coachella Valley local, right? You're
Yeah,
from
I actually
the valley?
grew up, raised, born, and bred here, with the exception of 5 or 6 years that I lived in Sacramento. And but yeah, been here the whole time.
What would you say the biggest difference is in the valley from when you were a kid to now?
Oh, just the population in general. I mean, it's when I was a kid, you could walk out your front door and look for miles and miles and not see another house, and now there's houses and stores and buildings everywhere. There's nothing to do. When we were growing up, we had the drive-in. That was like probably
Where was that at?
over where Martha's Village is at.
Oh, okay.
That used to be the drive-in.
Yeah.
And that's where we'd all hang out. That was a hangout spot. We had a couple of movie theaters downtown over where Miles Park is at. There was the Aladdin movie theater. And that was back in the 70s and 80s. But so there wasn't much out here.
Just population,
just
that's the
desert.
biggest. Yeah.
That population, the growth in the valley.
Yeah, I don't even think I saw. Well, obviously I didn't see it any time near when you saw it. But I still remember when I was a kid, and it was almost like Blythe. It was like spread out. There was like a little city here, spread out, a little city there.
Well, I don't know if you, well, I mean, you know the Cove area, right?
Yeah.
Up in the Cove. So in the Cove, back in those days, there might have been maybe 15 houses in that whole Cove area, whereas now there's probably 3,000 or 4,000 houses.
Yeah.
So that's probably the best example of the change, because, like I said, 15 houses compared to probably 3,000 or 4,000 houses in that Cove now. That's how much more populated it is now. I remember being able to drive down the freeway, and you could literally drive down the freeway and probably not see a car for probably 5 minutes down the road. Oh, there's a car. Oh, there's a car.
Really?
Now you get on the freeway, and it looks like a major freeway.
Yeah,
There's
the
cars
valley is just
going
busy.
both ways. So yeah, that's the biggest change I've seen in the
You
desert.
can probably put it back there if you want to. So yeah, I guess we should go into TNT Delivers. What from your childhood, or I guess your childhood. What made you have that entrepreneur like spirit? What made you want to be your own boss?
I don't know that I set out to be my own boss. I don't know that I set out to be an entrepreneur. I just, as you probably know a little bit about, I come from a rough background. Unfortunately, only went to the 8th grade. Didn't have any high school education. So I didn't expect to be where I'm at now. I just ended up where I'm at now because that's kind of where my path led me when I finally started to get my act together, if you will, and get into a routine of living life the way, because in life you have to live. You have to live a certain way, I guess, because if you don't, and what I mean by that is if you don't work, you don't have a job, you don't pay bills, you don't pay taxes, those kind of things, you're not really a part of society, You're, like I was for a long time, kind of just a low life, if you will. You don't exist because you don't have a job, you don't pay taxes, you don't have a car, a house. So coming from where I came from, I did not know anything about, I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was going to do. And how I got into TNT Delivers was by accident. It all came from way back before that. Starting from, like I said, when I got my act together, my first job ended up being doing security, which
what caused you to get your act together? What was the one maybe moment?
Well, I don't know that it was a moment. I think it was just a period of time, I was raised a certain way, and I was raised around a lot of drugs and alcohol and gangs and things like that. So I thought that's the way I was meant to be. That's the way I was raised. That's the way I was born. I thought that's who I was supposed to be. And so I had been in and out of a lot of institutions and as a kid and then as an adult. And I don't know. I was just talking about this to Christopher, my son, the other day, and telling him that it was just weird. And it wasn't Christopher, it was Cindy that I was talking to. That it was just weird. It was like from one day to the next, I was in jail. I was in jail. And I got out of jail, and I met this gal that had been kind of following me while I was in jail and that kind of thing. But it was just kind of weird because I realized that... And that 24
we have a visitor.
It's okay. You want to come over here?
Come real quick.
You could probably sit here with me.
I thought you got started.
Huh?
Come on.
Yeah, he could probably sit with that Papa boy. That my Papa boy.
All right. Well, that's my son, my youngest, Ezekiel. He's crashing the 4th episode. So
yes, Papa boy.
Whatever.
Two. He's two.
He's gonna be 2.
Just so you know, he's
almost
2. He is 2. So, it was just like a light switch. It was just weird how from one day I was what I thought I was supposed to be and how I was meant to be, to the next day where it was like, I could be whatever I want to be.
Yeah.
Well, who says I have to be like that?
Kind of felt like your own guy, finally.
Yeah, who says that is what I'm a big boy now. I make my decisions. And I think that's what it was. At that point, I decided, you know what? Let me try something different. I literally changed everything about me. Everything, the way I dressed, the way I talked, the people I hung out with, the people I associated with. And in doing that, that's how I began to get into the workforce. And like I said, my first job was doing security, which was, I thought, like the furthest thing from anything I would ever do, considering where I came from.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I had so much fun doing it. Went from doing securing lots of dirt, to securing country clubs, to securing malls, and then from there to doing undercover security for different department stores. And
doing like loss prevent. Is that loss prevention?
It was called loss prevention, loss control. There was a bunch of names for it back then.
We'll get back to TNT, but since we got into security, I do security as well. Obviously, working for Bighorn. What was your craziest or your most exciting experience when you're working security?
Oh my goodness!
I know you had a few.
There was so many.
It's kind of fun, yeah.
There was so many. I've had razor blades pulled out on me. I've had knives pulled out on me. I've been chased by cars. So there was there's so many different stories. It was definitely an adventure. And it felt good for me to finally be on the other side.
Yeah,
because not that I was ever, like a thief or a robber or anything like that. Most of my issues were drug related. So it was never anything of that nature, but it was still fun to be on the other side. Now I was a good guy chasing the bad guys, and I would literally, chase bad guys and run them down and tackle them and fight with them and handcuff them and bring them back. And in the beginning, because I grew up here and I came back from Sacramento, that's when I kind of turned that new leaf. When I got out of jail that last time, came back from Sacramento, I came back to Indio, started kind of messing around again, and then said to myself, "Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm just doing the same."
You're about to drop right into the same hole.
So I said, I caught myself, thank goodness, and I said, "You know what? I'm done." I was living with my grandmother in Coachella, and I told her, I says, "If anybody comes looking for me, tell them I went back to Sacramento. I'm gone." So she did that, and that took 2 or 3 months. So the reason I mentioned that is because I had grown up here, and this is where I was from. So when I started doing the security and the loss prevention for these department stores and stuff, naturally I ran into a lot of people that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And that was probably the weirdest thing for me, because every time I ran into somebody like that, they always wanted to test me in the sense that they thought that, we're still down, we're still homies, we're still... And I would tell them, "Hey, do me a favor, take it somewhere else. This is where I'm at. This is what I do. And so if you steal something, I'm going to have to arrest you, because this is what pays my bills and puts food on my table. And if you respect me enough, then you'll do that." And some of them did. Some of them did. They did. But most of them, they challenged me. They constantly challenged me and threatened and, all these things. How weak I was, I didn't have no heart, and all these things. And then that went on for about 4 or 5 years with the people that I knew. And then after that, it was the opposite. After that, they started to respect me, because they saw that I was real and I was not just playing.
You're like trying to be different. You're
trying to be. They thought, "Oh, this guy, he's fake." No, they realized that, okay, this guy. So it was a good thing. So in that process, I did a lot of security for a lot of years, for many companies, and became loss control manager and loss prevention manager. There's different titles, but they're all the same, doing the same thing, and saved a lot of companies a lot of money. I did a lot of recovery, a lot of bad check recoveries, things like that. And in that process is where I started getting noticed for my efforts, obviously, but more for my skills, which I honestly don't know where they came from, because I never had any kind of schooling or anything.
How important do you think schooling is? Since
it's the most important thing in anybody's life. Anybody's life. I honestly wish, and only because I've come to where I've come and I've done what I've done. But when I did it, it was before the computer age. So it was easy to do when I did it. And when I did it, you didn't need the bachelor's, the master's. You didn't need any of that stuff. It was all based on your integrity, your character, and your knowledge. And so I was able to do the things I was able to do based on those characteristics, rather than if I was trying to do the same things then, same things now that I did then, they wouldn't even talk to me, because I don't have a master's, I don't have a bachelor's in those fields.
Yeah. And
which are the fields that I very successfully did when I did them without any of that stuff, with an 8th grade education. So that's what it is. I mean, it's now in this day and age, if you don't have some kind of schooling, you're really lacking. You're really lacking.
Okay. Do you think schooling? How important is schooling in like the real life? Like, let's say not about getting the job, but actually in the job or in the career, in your career choice. How important was schooling? Because obviously you dropped out in the 8th grade, so you figured it out without the schooling, with owning your own business. How important is schooling with like owning your own business or owning a moving company?
Well, I'll tell you, schooling, like I said, is so important.
You should focus
in this day and age, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you really, that's just another tool in your toolbox, and it's one that you really should have. But I'll tell you, schooling in school is night and day compared to schooling in real life. And what I mean by that is, you go to school and you get your bachelor's, and and management and whatever that might be, whatever thing. In my particular case, it would have been in management because that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
So
what you learn in school really has nothing to do with what real life is doing.
Yeah.
It gives you an idea, gives you a little bit of knowledge about what's going on. So when you go in there, the words and the phrases that you hear make sense to you because you know what that is. You know what net profit is. You know what net loss is. You know what percentages are. You know, they make sense to you.
Yeah.
But in real life, that's about all that you can bring from the schooling to the job, because every job is completely different, and every job runs on a different scale. Or not scale is not the word I'm looking for, but just a different platform, I guess, if you will. So just because you do management for Google doesn't mean that the management for Kmart is the same.
Yeah.
Just the same. You do management for Amazon doesn't mean the management for eBay is the same. So that's why I say when you go to school and you learn all that, that's great. It gives you a kind of rounded feeling.
It's almost like an intro to it.
But it doesn't help you in the real world. It really doesn't. And I tell you that because when I was working for Kmart, and I was there for 13 years, and I was the operations manager there, and running that place, there came a time back in the 90s when they wanted to get rid of all of us because we were making too much money. Simply because we were making too much money, and not because of anything else. The company started to lose money because that was the age of Walmart coming into town.
Okay.
So that's where the losses were coming from, and we took a pretty good dip, about 30% in sales. So rather than address those issues that were attributing our decline in sales to Walmart, they said,
cut the salary.
Let's just start at just cut the salary, and then we'll figure that out. So what they did was they were bringing in these classes. They were going in and recruiting literally the whole entire class that was getting bachelor's degrees in financial management, and recruiting them, bringing them to us, and we were training them to replace us because back then in the 90s, I was making $50,000 to $55,000 in the 90s, and before they took our bonuses away, we were getting $25,000 to $30,000 in bonuses. So in the 90s, I was making $75,000 to $80,000 a year, and then they took our bonuses away, so that left our $55,000 a year. But they were able to bring these kids in fresh out of college that had all this book smarts at half that price. So they were getting 2 for 1. So we were training these people to take our jobs, and they were, and unfortunately what happened was they took too many of the experienced people out of the workforce and brought all these green thumbs in that didn't have any clue how the real world really works and to run the company.
Yeah.
And well, we all know where Kmart's at now. Kmart went from, when I worked with them, I think we had I want to say close to 500 stores or something like that, and now I think they're down to like 53.
Yeah.
But that's corporations. That's corporate America. When it comes time to make adjustments, they always go that route rather than just go at the very top and get rid of the CEO, which is probably $50 million right off the bat, rather than get rid of 100 employees to equal that same $50 million. It's just get rid of one guy instead of 100. But that's just corporate America. That's just the way it works. I'll never understand it. So on my realm, in my level, I try to run my business and created my business on the premise that, obviously customer service is always first. You take care of the customer.
Yeah.
And that's an old art. You don't see that very much anymore. And with that and integrity and character and all that, that's how I've been here for 22 years. And I think it's more based on quality of service, customer service, integrity, character, things like that, that even if you don't always have the biggest, baddest, bestest product or service or that by itself will get you a lot of business. because sometimes just because that guy is bigger and has the newer truck or the bigger building doesn't always mean he's the best service or the best person for the job. And so I think that each company, based on their own merits, is determines their future. You know.
Well, you guys, I don't think you've done any marketing, right? You've done like
We
no
do
marketing.
zero. We
Word
do,
of mouth. That's it, correct?
Yeah. When we first started, I did a little bit of marketing, did some, phone book stuff. I did some advertising on tables in some restaurants and the local high schools, that kind of stuff. And honestly, I can't remember ever anybody saying, "Oh, I got your number off of that table," or "I got your number off of that banner," or "I got your number out of the phone book," or "I got your..." Every phone call we always said, "Hey, Bob said to call you. I talked to Bob. I told him I was moving." Or Betty Sue said, to call you.
Exactly.
So it was always word of mouth. So rather than concentrate all our efforts and our resources into the billboards and the TV commercials, we concentrate those efforts into the customer. And so and what I mean by that is that there are situations, not very many, thank goodness, but when they do arise, where there might be an issue, something was broken, something was scratched, we might have done it, we don't know. Sometimes we know we did it, and and that's the good thing about my guys is they don't pay for nothing for that reason. That's part of my customer service thing. I took that whole thing about them having to pay for any damages they do so that they keep them honest. And the way that keeps them honest is by doing that, because if you tell a guy, "Hey, you're going to pay for that thing you break," then they're going to hide stuff.
They're going to be like, "I didn't do it."
I tell them, "You don't pay for nothing, so you don't hide nothing. I pay for it. I don't care what it is or what. You bring that to the attention."
That's a pretty good rule. That's a good way to look at it.
That's a good way, because you can't do that. You just can't just, maybe they won't see it and turn the bottle this way so the scratch is in the back and hope they don't never notice. No, if it's there, you tell them. And I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, if you point that out to the customer, they're like, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But I'll tell you what, 10 times out of 10, if you don't say nothing and they discover it, they want the White House. They want everything.
Yeah, brand new. They wanted, that was $10,000.
So that's why it's good to be, and that's the integrity part. That's why it's good to be honest and upfront and own up to your. And a lot of times, like I say, not a lot of times because we don't have a lot of problems, but a few times we've had issues where we know we didn't do it. We know we didn't do it. And we'll still take care of it. We'll still make it right.
Yeah.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but that's what you do. And I'll tell you what, that customer is going to spread that word and say, "You know what? They scratched this, they did that," even though we don't think we did. Because a lot of times, you got to understand, when somebody lives in a house and they've been there 20 years, they don't know that scratch has been there. They don't know that because they haven't seen it for 20 years. Now you move it, now everything's fresh, and you might have moved it from a corner where that was facing a wall, and now it's in the middle of the floor, and now it's noticeable, and now they think you did it. And
it could have just got dusty, and then you move it, and some of the dust came off, and now you see a scratch.
And now you see a scratch. Yeah. So things like that, we still take care. We still take care of that stuff, and I'll tell you what, it's a small price to pay. I might pay $50, $100 to get that fixed, but I'll make thousands of dollars off that customer.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
You know what? There was a scratch there, and they fixed it the next day, and because that's how quick we move. We get it done quick. So so it has a lot to do with your integrity and that kind of thing. So
let's take a step back, and from Kmart, how did you get from Kmart to TNT? What was the move there? Because you said you kind of fell into it. Correct?
Yeah, it was totally an accident. Because like I said, when I was working for Kmart and we were doing really good, they started bringing these college kids and that. They started to take things away, which was our bonuses. We were getting $25,000 to $30,000 a year bonuses because we were making $30-40 million a year. And so that's what our bonuses back then were based off of 4 things. It was cleanliness of the store, customer service, waste, which is loss of the store, and then the customer shop report. Customer would come in, secret shoppers come in and shop us and give us a report. So those 4 things were 25% each of our bonuses. And if we met all 4 of them, we get our full bonus. Obviously, 3 of them, 75%, and so on and so forth. Well, eventually they started to take that away, and when they did, they took everything away, and they pretty much said, and that was when Walmart came to town, they pretty much said that the only bonus you're going to get is based off of profit. So whatever profit we get, you'll get a bonus. So we went from $25,000 to $30,000 bonuses to like $10,000 or $15,000 bonuses. And so based on that premise, that the only way you're going to get more money is by selling more and less waste and all those things that contribute to that. But making more money, we decided, me and my boss, I was the operations manager, he was the general store manager, Charlie, decided that what if we offer free delivery service on any items that our customers couldn't manage to get to their home because they didn't have a truck or whatever the means might be. And that was like patio furniture, ready to assemble furniture like this, they come in big boxes. And so we offered free delivery service is what we did to kind of push the sales to kind of get, more money so we can get bigger bonuses. So we put these little placards on little displays that we had of the things and said, buy this display or buy this product and we'll deliver the product for free. So that's how I started. I started doing that for probably about 3 or 4 months, and then about the 5th or 6th month, whatever it was, so I probably did about 5 or 6 months, a customer came in we had our regular customers that came in on a regular basis. We used to have a restaurant there, so every morning I'd have breakfast at the restaurant. So from like 8 to 9 in the morning, you could always find me at the restaurant. And I had a regular crew of customers, probably 3 or 4 of them, older people, that would come in and they'd sit with me every morning and have breakfast. Hang out, hang out with me. So anyway, this one gal came in, I forget her name. It was like Betsy or something. Anyway, she came in one morning and she said, hey, I was wondering if you might be able to move me. I'm going to be moving, and I know you guys delivering and stuff, and if you could move me. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I just don't have time for that. At Kmart, we were contracted for 48 hours a week. That's what they paid us for, but they expected us to be there 70 hours a week. So I already had a full schedule, and I was only doing the deliveries
just to get that bonus, basically.
Yeah, to get that bonus. So I told her no, and after about 2 or 3 weeks of her coming in, I finally said, you know what, yeah, I think we can do it for you. And so I got one of the guys that used to work for me, a good friend of mine, Patrick, unfortunately just passed away last week or 10 or 12 days ago. He worked for me in our stock
That's
room.
crazy. Chico was telling me that. You guys were like, he started it with you.
Yeah, he was the one that was with me from the beginning. For probably the first 3 or 4 years, he was with me, and then that's another story. But anyway, so I got him, and I said, hey, you know what? When you get off of work this afternoon, you want to go help me move this lady? She's got a 1-bedroom apartment, and shouldn't be a big deal. And he's like, sure, yeah, I'll go. So I told him I'd give him a couple of bucks, whatever, and we went and we moved her. And I charged her a flat rate. I believe I charged her like $300 or something, and that was not a good deal. She got the better end of the deal. She had a lot of stuff, and it was a big job. But it was good. We had a good time. We did it. So anyway, about a week after that, a friend of hers came in and said, "Oh, hey, Betty told me you just moved her, and I was wondering if you could move me too." And I said, "Oh, well, what the heck? That wasn't so bad, and that was $300, and it's back in the '90s, so that was good money." And so I did. I fixed the schedule for Patrick to make sure he was off that day, and we went and we did it. And again, I charged him a flat rate. I think I charged him like $400 or $500. And again, I got the short end of the stick. I was like, "Oh my goodness, so we won't do that again." So then after that, I thought, well, there might be something here, And so I thought, we continue to do more deliveries. And then as we're doing the deliveries, there was other companies that started to call us, Costco, and forget what it was. There was somebody else. Anyway, they called and, hey, I heard you do deliveries. And so we started to become like a little delivery company. Yeah. I actually made cards and stuff and said, you know what, I'm going to start doing this. And so that's how it started. That's how I made that leap from being a retail person to being,
into your own business.
Self-employed.
Yeah.
And after doing that little gig for probably about a year, realized that I could probably make more money doing that than I could being at Kmart. And Kmart was already going down because Walmart had come to town and sales were declining. They were not putting money into the stores, so the stores were not fresh and clean and bright. And so I could just see that there was
Like the future
no
demise.
light at the end of that tunnel, you know?
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm going to concentrate more on this and less on that. And I did. And so I'm glad I did, because I did. And I left Kmart about a year after I started doing the moving thing, and thought, okay, I'm going to take that leap. And it was scary. It was scary. That first year I left, because the first year I did the TNT thing. I officially made it TNT. I made like $1,400 that first year. And I thought, okay, well, that's not bad. You know, that's $1,400. Not so bad. So then the second year, I made like $3,500. And that's the year that I decided I was going to leave. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and go. I had some...
so they had you doing... were they fine with it being TNT Delivers, and you were still like delivering... Were you delivering for Kmart still?
Yeah.
As the TNT Delivers?
Yeah, and they were, because they were me. I was the one that made that decision.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
there was no one there to tell me, hey, you can't do that.
You're the manager.
I was the operations manager. And I had the general store manager, who was my boss, but he was kind of ghost. He just made sure that I ran the store, and as long as I ran the store, you very rarely ever saw him. I ran that store for probably the last 5 years that I was there. And everybody knew that. Everybody knew that, you know, that I was the guy.
Yeah.
And so there was nobody there to tell me you couldn't do that.
Okay.
I could pretty much do whatever I want, come and go as I wanted. I was salary, so I didn't have to clock in, or I can do whatever I wanted.
In and out, yeah.
And I did. That's another story. But so I did that, and then after about the second year, I think I made about $3,500. I thought, you know what, this Kmart, I was really frustrated, because they were just really, really becoming jerks, if you will. They didn't care about you anymore. They were like,
exactly.
You know, you don't like it, you can go. That kind of attitude. And I was like, oh, whatever. So I left, and when I left, that was scary, because I went from making, you know, $50,000-$55,000 a year to $35,000 or $3,500. But I did have some money. I had some vacation time. I took a leave of absence. I didn't actually quit. I took a leave of absence.
Okay.
So I had a way to go back if I had to. And then the money that I had, like I said, I thought would carry me at least a good 6 or 8 months to kind of get me going. And so that was scary. That was scary. But then I went from the first year, $1,400. The second year, about $3,500. Then I went to the third year. And in the third year, I went from $3,500 to $30,000. It just blew. I don't know how or why or what. It just like that.
What did you guys have? Like, what was your first fleet of vehicles? Did you just have a trailer? Did you have a
when I first started, I had a pickup truck and a trailer.
There you go.
And then and it was an old pickup truck. It was a Mazda B2000, like a 1987 or something.
What car
I used to call it Cherry, and because it ran so good, it was like. It was cherry. It was like a brand new car, even though it was like 15 years old. But anyways, I had that little pickup, got a trailer, and that's what we did our first probably 3 or 4 moves with. And then I found a stake bed truck, a Ford Ranger stake bed truck. That was the second truck. When I started using that, I got rid of the trailer and the B2000 or 3000, whatever it was. And then I realized that wasn't cutting it. So then we rented U-Hauls for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Probably 2 or 3 years. I just rented U-Hauls and just bit the bullet, and that was so pricey. I mean, it's a lot of money to rent U-Hauls. And so then after about the 3rd or 4th year, I just finally said to myself, you know what, I need to get a truck. So I went and I bought my first truck, and that was, it was brand new. I bought it in 2001. It was a 2000 GMC 6500 and paid cash for it. Bought it, and I actually still have that truck today.
Which one is that?
The yellow one.
Oh, okay.
The yellow one. So that's kind of the fleet, you know. And I got the other truck, the Whitey Zuzu. I've got the Durango, and
Yeah, you got
the
a little
van,
bit of a
the
crew
Sprinter
now.
van.
Yeah, you're kind of set up.
Yeah, we got a good crew. We got 8 guys. Stay busy.
And so you went with TNT, and then you've been doing that for 20 years. And within what, the last year, you went with U-Haul, right? The last year or two, you decided to expand and do a warehouse.
Yeah, well, the whole expand and warehouse and all that was, again, another one of those kind of by accident type of things. I thought I was done. You know, I've been doing it at this point. I was doing it 20 years already, and I thought I was done. I thought I was at a point where I might be able to eventually just sell off the business. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, we make some decent money out of my house, and then we were just having that conversation one day, and my family, you know, Christopher, Chicky, Cindy, I think everybody was around talking about, you know, well, you know, Dad, you really should, you know, just get a building, you know, just get a building and put that little bug in my ear. And I'm like, so I thought, you know what, well, what the heck, we'll do it. Yeah. So that's what took me out of the house was that conversation. Otherwise, I was fine right where I was at. There was
How random.
Yeah. It was totally random.
Yeah.
It really was. And you know what? It was good, and it's still good. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just a lot more work. It just added so much work to my plate that I was, again, like I said, I thought I was done. I thought I was coming to the end, and now it seems like the beginning. You know, I'm starting all over.
Do you feel like you got that energy, though? Like it's the beginning again?
I feel like I got that energy in the new building because I'm getting it ready, and I feel, you know, excited.
Yeah.
But when that's over, I'll be like I am right now with the old building. I'll feel like I just want it to be over. You know, I just want to be done because I just want to be done. I'm an old guy. You know, I'm 54
you ready
years
to retire?
Old. Yeah, and I don't want to be involved in that. And like right now, we're just over the top, just busy, working 7 days a week. You know, just every day, all the time, and not even just 8 to 5, but 24/7 because you know we do courier service and we do the delivering and the moving, and so I'm constantly getting voicemails and emails and you know just all the time. So I don't get any breaks. So yeah, I mean I'm excited and I'm really glad that we're here going into our 22nd, 23rd year, and we're expanding. We got a bigger building. You know we're definitely going to that next level. But I really want to get to a point where I can kind of pull away from that and let my son, Christopher, take over and let him, you know, go to that next 20 years. Because there's no reason why we couldn't be around. Our reputation is like over the top.
Well, here in the Valley, it's
over the top.
Basically A+.
Yeah, you can look us up anywhere and you'll see that we're just exceptional service. So there's no reason why it couldn't continue to go another 20 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it another 20 years. I don't want to do it another 10 years. But
well, and you guys just mentioned how good you guys are in your service. U-Haul, you guys just started, and you guys are one of the top 500 or top 50 or something like that.
Yeah. Speaking of the U-Haul thing, we just started. It'll actually be 10 months, I think now.
Wow.
So we started doing it about 10 months ago, and that kind of seemed like a natural fit for me. I've always had a relationship with U-Haul since I started renting their trucks. Then we became part of their moving helper staff, people that service their customers, and then they let us go because we had trucks, and you're not supposed to have trucks. And then so it just I've always had this thing with U-Haul. You know, it's just kind of like, I don't know, redheaded stepchild, if lack for a better word. I guess I hope that's not bad these days to say something like that.
No, you're
But
good,
anyway, it was just more of that kind of thing. So there was eventually, there had to be some kind of relationship with us because we do the same thing, just in a different manner. So anyway, longer story short, we got our new building, and when we got our new building, really good friends with the whole U-Haul people because I've been doing business with U-Haul for 20 years. So one of the guys, Paul, who's over at the Indio main U-Haul location, kept bugging me, kept telling me, dude, you got to do U-Haul, got to do U-Haul. Yeah. Get in there, you got to do U-Haul. We need help. So that's who pushed me into the U-Haul. I got into the U-Haul and did that very successfully. And so we started U-Haul in July of 2018. And so August, September, October, November, December, January, February. So in February, which was 7 months later, we did get top 100 in the North region, which is the top 2% of the North region, because there's about 19,000 dealers, the neighborhood dealers in North America. And of those 19,000 dealers in North America, we ranked the top 2%.
Wow.
Top 2%, which was the top 100. Which I found out because I talked to our boss, our supervisor, when we found out about that. And I found out she had never heard about anybody getting top 100 in that category in their first year of service.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty good.
How do they, do you know their ranking system or how they rank you guys on that?
I don't know what the formula is, but I'm thinking, that it has not only to do with sales, but I'm thinking just overall, like reviews, sales. They have insurance, so if they rate you on the amount of people that took the insurance as opposed to that didn't take the insurance.
I'm sure there's multiple variables.
There's I don't know what their formula is, because I'm still so new to the company. But yeah, I was surprised to see that
that's a pretty
we ranked top 100 in North
America.
America.
Cool award, yeah.
North America, that's pretty wild. That was good.
So so now you guys are working on the new building. Do you have any future plans in the next? I know you said hopefully Christopher take over. I guess do you have anything planned for the next couple of years, or just focus on that next warehouse you guys got going right now?
Well, yeah, focus on the warehouse,
that,
but what we do have planned is that we're not doing now. So, for instance, before we got in the building, we did moving, and we did courier service, and that was pretty much the bulk of our business. We moved in the new building that we're in now, which is now the old building, and when we did that, we picked up the U-Haul, we picked up the shipping and receiving, and then now that we're moving into the new building, we're going to add the U-Boxes, which is U-Haul's pod. They're equivalent to the pod or the pack rat. Yeah. So we're going to start doing the U-Boxes and adding that to our services. Not only delivering them, loading them, unloading them, that kind of thing, but storing them as well. So in the future, what I see is just more of that continued relationship between us and U-Haul, because we're right now in the new building that we're moving into, we're literally less than a mile away from the major U-Haul in Indio, and that's kind of by design because of the relationship that I have with the U-Haul. That was one of the things that the manager over there kept telling me, was that they need space for the U-Boxes because they don't have very much space there for storage. Yeah. And so he's pretty full. So what's happening is they're having to take the containers all the way to Riverside that should be left here.
That's a trip, yeah.
And then they have to bring them back when they need them. So we're going to try to work in conjunction with them. That's what the future is in this building, is to work in conjunction with U-Haul and expand not only our U-Haul rentals, but our U-Haul box sales and our U-Haul U-Box business, and as well as storage.
Yeah, that's
and that's what we're
the space you guys have now in that new building. Yeah,
we have space for storage, which we try to do in the old building, and we filled it up within the first month we were there, and it hasn't been empty since. So we need space.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah. You kind of knew it was going to happen, though.
I did. I just didn't think that it was going to fill up that fast. Yeah. And I thought if it did, it'd be a couple of months and then fill it again. But no, they've been there for the year that we've been there. Yeah. So that's good. That's good.
So since you've been in business for 20 plus years, would you have any advice you'd pass on to a young entrepreneur or somebody trying to do their own
the
thing?
Only thing that I can suggest to anybody, no matter what field, no matter what path you take in your life, whether it's work, whether it's just life in general, whether it's school or whatever it is, my whole philosophy always has been and always will be, and I still believe that strongly today, is that people really just look for a person that's honest, reliable, on time, says that they're going to do something, they do it. Say they're going to do it in a certain time, they do it in a certain time. So that's my main thing, is as long as you're that person that is honorable and has integrity, and not just that person that wants to just make a quick buck and move on to the next guy that you can get over on. Because that's what business is today. Businesses are so big that they don't care if they ever see you again. It doesn't really matter to them, because you're just another person in that stream of
fish.
You're
just a number, basically.
They're still going to make their millions. So our philosophy is that we're not looking to see you once. We want to make you a customer for life.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, we have to gain your confidence, and we have to gain your trust that we are worthy of being that person. And the only way to do that, again, is to be honest, reliable, on time. And even if you're going to be 5 minutes late, you'd be surprised that 5 minutes that you're going to be late might not be a big deal to you. You're like, oh, it's only 5 minutes, no big deal. But if you call that customer and you say, hey, you know what, I'm really sorry, I'm running a little bit late. I think I'm going to be about 5 minutes behind. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. They love that. They love that because you don't get that these days. You don't get that. Everything is a window. Oh, we'll be there between 8 and 5, or we'll be there between 8 and 12, or 12 and 5, or, they don't get that. Hey, we'll be there at 8 o'clock, and we're there at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We'll be there at 9 o'clock, and we're there at 9 o'clock. So things like that go such a long way, because people don't get that in their lives anymore. That's what we used to call customer service, which doesn't exist anymore. And as long as you have that great customer service, and you can see by looking us up and looking at our reviews and stuff, that's what people are driven on. And right now, in this day and age, people are so reliant on reviews. I see that more and more. People are telling us that based on your reviews, I wanted to call you because you got great reviews. So we wanted to use you. So it's important that you do that, because again, it's not happening. I mean, whether it's a plumber or the electrician or the mailman, or nobody has a schedule anymore. Everybody just pretty much says, I'll be there between this hour and that hour, and hope they do. And if they don't, they're, oh, sorry, can't make it today, be there tomorrow. That's what everybody is so used to now, because that's what this life has become. And when you throw in that old-fashioned service that I'll be there Monday morning at 8 o'clock, and you're there Monday morning at 8 o'clock, guess what?
It's almost a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, you just blew that customer away. And they'll tell us. Yeah. I've heard it before. They're like, oh my God, I cannot even believe you guys are on time. Who's on? Nobody's ever on time. And they're just blown away. So that's if I had to share anything with anybody to be successful, is integrity, honesty, reliability are probably the main things that you can do in life. And again, people don't do that anymore. They're just not. Whether they work for a company and they just don't care because they're not making enough money, or it's their own company and they just don't care because they're out to make that quick buck. And that's what this world, unfortunately, is about, is money. And so, unfortunately, a lot of people are driven to get what you can
just
now
for money.
As quick as you can.
Yeah.
And we're not, man. We're taking the slow road. We're taking a little bit at a time. You
guys have lasted 20 plus years, and most businesses don't last.
And we're going stronger than ever. Stronger than ever.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, we're probably stronger today than we were 22 years ago.
Well, you think about it. You decided, okay, now I'm going to expand. And it's working out perfectly. It's been consistent ever since you expanded. You had to expand again because it worked.
Because that was worked out so well.
Yeah.
So, no, we're definitely on the right track. And anybody could be, if they just remember that you got morals.
That's something a lot of people don't have anymore.
You don't have that anymore.
You don't have
that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's sad because it's that industry. It's just life. Life is a rat race. And I still I got to rein my son in, got to rein the other guys in, because sometimes I make decisions that aren't the smartest to them, because they don't see the long run. They don't see why I did that, because this is going to be so beneficial down the road for us. They just see today and now.
You're losing out on $200 or whatever. Yeah.
But that $200 is going to come back tenfold, and that's what I try to tell them. And they're learning. They'll learn. Him more importantly than anybody, because he has to take this to the next 20 years, and he has to learn. You have to learn to take care of not only the customers but your people as well, because you're only as good as the people around you.
Yeah,
that's a fact. No matter
right
what.
About that.
So if you can't build the people up around you, then that's a problem. And that's one thing I've always been good at. Thank God, I've managed. Now I'm managing 6 to 8 guys at a time. But when I was with Kmart, I was managing 100, 150 people at a time.
You've been doing that for a while.
And I'll tell you, it was a good feeling to see after I left Kmart to go back years later and walk in the store and those few employees that were still there, because, in any retail market, they come and go so often. But there was a handful of employees that were still there. It was a good feeling to walk in and feel like a celebrity. They were so happy to see me. They were, because I was always a fair manager, a fair person, and that's who I am today. I treat you, as fair as I can, and do what I can.
From experience, I would agree with that.
And like the old saying is, you get more bees with honey, and I truly believe that. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be,
It's a trendy thing now, though. Yeah. It's a trendy thing to be a jerk and be a. It is. What's the point of that? What's the point of all that?
There really is not. And that's just me. I'm an old guy, I'm 54 years old, so I could be wrong too. But I'm telling you, for me, it's worked. For me, it's worked, and it's worked quite well. And I'll continue to live like that. I'll continue to live to help people and to teach people to be successful like that. It's not hard. It's not hard. There's just those simple rules, honesty, integrity, and reliability. I mean, there's as cliche or whatever as it might sound, that really is the building blocks of a good relationship in business and in life with people,
Life, customer service,
everything. It's just life in general. If you live like that in life in general, you'll always be honored and respected by people, But if you're shady, then you're not going to get far. And as you know, and I know, there's so many people that have come and gone, and they do this and they do that, but they don't put their hearts into it. They don't put their whole being into it. They're just like trying to get that quick buck. Can I make that quick buck? Nope, doesn't work here. Let me go try it over here. Nope, doesn't work there. Let me go try it over here.
Exactly.
No, dude, just stick with this.
Stick with
and
something
put your
you're
heart
into.
It.
Yeah,
put your heart into it. And it'll take time. I mean, it took me a good 5 or 6 years, maybe 7 years, to really become successful.
Yeah.
It didn't happen overnight. I'm telling you, I started the first year 1,400, 3,500, 30,000, went to like 35, 40.
And that's still lower than what you're getting paid at Kmart.
And still lower,
You're still not really making it.
Yeah. But it came, and now I won't tell you what I make, but I'll tell you I make probably 5 or 6 times what I was making there. And
do the math.
And that's just starting now. Yeah, do the math. So.
And since you've been in business for 20 plus years, and I know you've done a little bit of like investing in gold, like you buy gold here and there and silver. What would some investments you would say for a 20-year-old or even like a 30-year-old to get into while they have time before they, think about retirement and all that?
Well, I guess if you're looking at like monetary type investments, it's everything's a gamble.
Kind of, right? Stock market's a gamble. Gold's a gamble.
The thing that I liked about gold and silver is that it's tangible, and it's something, I mean, like stocks and bonds you can hold and stuff too, but it's not here. It's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it could be whatever it is. Whereas my gold and my silver, it's right here in my hand. I can see it, I can feel it, I can touch it, and it's there. There was a time, probably 5, 10 years ago, I thought for sure that was the market, was the gold and the silver. And it still can be, because it's not a bad investment. So it's definitely a good investment, but it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I thought for sure by now, 10 years later, that, we'd be in the $2,000 or $3,000 range for gold and the $200 or $300 range for silver. And
where are we at right now for gold and
silver's probably $17, which it's been up and down, $14 to $17 for probably the last 10 years. And then gold is probably $1,100, where it's been probably $700 to $1,200 in the last 10 years. So it's up and down. So it's still a good investment, but I think the best investment, especially moving forward, is to invest in an IRA. Start looking at your future, start looking at the things that are going to matter the most when you're done, and that's having some income.
Yeah.
So, especially being young, I would definitely look into doing, an IRA and going with something that's not, so risky, something that's more long term.
What's an IRA for people that wouldn't know what you're talking about?
It's an individual retirement account made for individuals, and you can get it through your employer, you can get it yourself through a bank, financial institution, things like that. And basically what that is obviously that's for your retirement when you're done, to supplement your Social Security, because, well, for you guys that are younger, I'm 54, I might get a couple of bucks, but for you guys, the talk is that Social Security won't exist when you guys are retiring. So you'll need even more than we will. So that's what I would suggest is if you're looking for something that's reliable and that's a good a security blanket, an IRA, because they're not like stocks and bonds and things like that. That's guaranteed. Everything you put in there is going to be there when you're done.
Yeah.
And you're going to earn interest on what's there. Obviously, the more you put, the more interest you'll earn on it. And so the idea is to hopefully, by the time you're done, you've put $50,000 or $100,000 into that, and you've earned $20,000 or $30,000 in interest off of that. And that is $200,000 or $300,000 by the time you're done with your Social Security. And that together, that's enough money to take you through your golden years.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion for long-term investment, long-term security, financial security, is that. There's a lot of quick ways, if you've got that skill and you're that kind of guy. There's everything from flipping houses to flipping cars, So there's a lot of things.
There's all kinds of stuff.
But yeah, so there's a lot of things. But all that stuff is here and now. So that's the thing that, like anything, it could come and go, whereas the retirement plan's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Life insurance, is not going to go anywhere. Things like that. My gold, my silver's not going to go anywhere. So those are the kind of things I tend to gravitate towards, is things that are more tangible.
They're going to be
than
there.
risky.
Yeah.
I do have some stocks. I do have some bonds. I do have.
With still some stocks, you can kind of pick the ones that are going to be there, that should be there.
Yeah.
If you pick a stock like Disney or something like that, it should be there 10, 20 years down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be able to buy them where you can make something off of them, and so like I said, I do have some. I have some silver and some solar stock. I have some Sprint stock, and I have some Square stock, and things like that. But just little stuff, nothing major.
Yeah.
Just little stuff that I kind of dabbled with, a couple $1,000s here and there, but nothing major. And I found that that's scary to me, because some of them have done well. My Square did well. I bought my Square for like $10 a share, and now it's like $30 a share. So that's a beautiful thing. I didn't buy enough. Wish I would have bought more, but most of it has gone. Like the silver shares have gone down, the solar shares have gone down, the Sprint has gone. So when I see that turns me off. That turns me off really quick. I feel like I'm throwing my money away, and I'm like, I don't want to do that no more. So I tend to gravitate towards things that I know are going to be more tangible and substance, at the end of the day. And that's, again, the IRA is I think the main thing if you're looking for financial security, and as you grow older, is invest in that. That's probably the best thing that I could think of.
Yeah, there's almost no risk.
There's zero risk.
Yeah.
There's zero risk. It's insured and everything, so there's zero risk. You get it through a bank. I mean, if you get it through your employer, then there's always risk, But if you get your own private IRA through a bank, there's no risk.
risk
It's
at
all
all.
insured, and that money's always guaranteed, and it will always be there. And you just add to it and add to it, and it's tax deductible at the end of the year. You can add to it if you owe taxes at the end of the year. They'll let you add up to like $3,000 or $4,000, whatever it is, of taxes you owe to the IRS. They'll let you pay that to yourself if you put it in your IRA.
Wow.
And that's a beautiful thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's a beautiful thing. Why would you give it to them? And they're going to allow you, hey, don't worry about paying us. Just put it in your IRA, and we know that you put it away, and you're not spending it, and you're good.
You can't
and
touch
then
it.
you don't have to
Yeah.
pay them. It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah,
so there's
cool.
a lot of benefits to having an IRA, even more than I'm probably discussing now. But those are just the things that stand out to me right away. So I like that. I have mine through Kmart, and then I have a private one as well. So I have 2 IRAs, and they're not a lot, but when I'm done, they with between that, my stock, my gold, my silver, my retirement from the business, because when
You
I
definitely
leave,
spread your eggs.
yeah,
You put 'em in
I've got a
couple
little
different
bit of
spots.
everything everywhere. Social Security and all that. I think I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I hope I'll be all right. Who knows?
Yeah.
In this day and age.
I think we should wrap this one
I
up.
think
This
so.
This is the
Think
4th
so.
episode of the 100 Pot. Let me hook you up with some stuff real quick.
Oh,
We're 420 friendly here, so
oh,
I got a couple of my buddy's stickers, and then a couple of my stickers in here. A little
really
rolling tray, a little nug jug.
nice.
But yeah, let's wrap this thing up. Thank you again. It'll be available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, every other streaming service. And again, it's David Torrez, owner of TNT Delivers and local U-Haul owner as well. And I don't know. I think we should wrap it up. You got a social media, correct? You got TNT Delivers.
Yeah, we've got TNTDelivers.com,
Instagram.
Facebook / TNT Delivers, Instagram, all of them, Twitter. We're out there.
All right.
TNTDelivers.com. You'll find us everywhere.
Cool. Let's wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you.